prichádza prezentácia dvoch amerických dám. Tá prezentácia bude v angličtine. Bude na tému, už som to povedal úplne naplno, ktorá sa bude venovať budovaniu smart cities, to znamená vlivu, to si len myslím podľa názvu, vlivu alebo vplyvu alebo používaním umelej inteligencie na budovanie smart miest. A rozprávať, pretože tie mená si teraz prečítam, rozprávať o tom budú doktorka Jeannice Fairrer Samani a na pódiu pozývam aj pani Tamare Stenberg-Greller z veľvyslanectva Spojených štátov amerických na Slovensku. Welcome on stage.
Hello, hello, hello. It's wonderful to see everyone here tonight and see so many families with young children. What a great event, and this globe, fantastic. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce our next speaker. My name is Tamara Sternberg-Greller. I am the Public Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy here in Bratislava, and it is our great honor to have with us as our guest Dr. Jeannice Fairrer Samani. She is many, many things. She is a professor, she is an engineer, she is an entrepreneur, an innovator, an inventor. She is someone who supports women in tech. She is someone who actively seeks out and supports female industry and entrepreneurship. We could not be more pleased to have her here today to talk to you about smart technology and smart cities, AI, and a lot of other things. So I'll turn the floor over to her.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tamara. It is truly a pleasure to be here today. How is everyone? You are well. You are well. This is the most magnificent event that I've ever seen. I actually live in Silicon Valley, and I have not seen this kind of dynamism where families come together to actually learn about science, learn about technology, and engage with one another. So thank you so much, U.S. Embassy. Thank you, host, for having me here today. I'd like for you to begin to imagine a city where traffic flows seamlessly. Energy is generated without any issues, problems, and it's sustainable. Very sorry. Thank you. And that citizens are connected to one another. Without, in their surroundings, they're taking into consideration the environment, but yet it's intergenerational. In this city, data becomes a powerful tool of enhancing the quality of life, innovation, and sustainability. This conduit, this coming together, this harmonious gathering of urban ecosystems is an opportunity to have a vision of a smart city. So when thinking of our smart city, again, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to be before you today. It is transforming the lives of the urban landscape. It is a hub for innovation, and I've seen that and experienced that today. And the week that I've been here, it's been an incredible opportunity to see the efficiency, the unparalleled conveniences that I have seen here in Slovakia. Today we will embark on a journey, and many of you have already started that journey just by coming here today and this evening, to think about the urban marvels of where this convenience and this integration, if you will, of technology, infrastructure, and human genuine interest in reshaping the actual fabric of how you live and your surroundings. Smart cities are not just a glimmer into the future, they're actually happening now. They are an opportunity to have these breakthrough possibilities, profound challenges of smart cities. Actually, think about the design and the engagement and what you could actually envision your world to be in an urban setting. What's so fascinating is 50% of the population in most countries actually live in the city, and in some instances even higher, up to 75. This is a fascinating statistic that allows us to continue to think about smart cities. So as we think about smart cities, let's begin to decode, if you will, and actually unveil exactly what that blueprint will look like. In presenting this vision and this approach of a smart city, let's harness this transformative power of AI, artificial intelligence. There are many booths around the exhibit hall that are focusing on artificial intelligence and actually what does that mean in the context of how we live in an urban center. So we can think about what drives a smart city, those key elements, as well as the ethics and the challenges that come about. Think about the future as present. The strategic approach that we have about smart cities is designing and propelling our cities into what they are today. As I have walked around and have driven through your beautiful city, I have seen many instances of a smart city. At its core, the blueprint is a meticulous construct, a creation in which there is a roadmap. So I really want you to go on this journey of your smart city as you think about walking through your city and what is smart and how you can engage. In the outline of the strategic approach, I have come up with 7 pivotal pillars, if you will, of reality of a smart city. 1 is data. Everyone's been talking about data, and what does that mean? So data analytics allows for us to think about how we can engage within this urban center and the importance and the value that we bring. Think about the infrastructure and how you move within your city and optimizing your citizenry. Think about being engaged as a citizen and being that part of the actual governance. Your resource management, as well as your public service engagement. Environmental sustainability, as well as economic development. Those are the key 7 pillars that would lay down the blueprint. So I'm going to share with you a few of these opportunities. One is about my company. Within our organization, we are actually developing data centers. Those data centers allow for energy to actually be sequestered. The information, the data that we had shared, that you share on a daily basis, whether you're on your cell phone or you actually opt into a survey, allows for us as FSG to actually curate that information. But we're focusing on green tech. Also, we connect that with the development of a particular city or smart city or any projects we're working on. We also work in the space of digital transformation, whereby we are gathering and actually curating that information for business intelligence. It allows for cities, it allows for SMEs, small businesses, to actually work smarter and not harder. So I want to go back and actually share with you some of these driving forces within a smart city. Financial institutions really have spearheaded the drive for smart cities. They have the opportunities such as the Slovakia Tech that I attended, where I saw innovation actually taking hold, where many companies were pitching and actually part of the hackathon. The sustainability goals, of course, lay down an incredible foundation, if you will, for the justification of markets that are driven. The utilization of 96 billion per year in electrical theft. So we're looking at security and fraud. Also, 40% of water distillation and distribution, where we're losing a remarkable commodity. Renewable energy is also a key factor. And of course, EV or electric vehicles are also important. So as we think about these sustainable goals, there are 17 sustainable goals that are identified by the UN. And several of those play a key role in our actual thoughts around green tech as well as climate change. So the concepts themselves, if you will, or the elements of IoT, and I'm going to give you a new element, IoT, the Internet of Things, is an actual aggregation of the information that is being used on the internet. It's an opportunity where you can have a smart city just based upon all of the information that is coming together. It is amalgamating, if you will. So that information can be utilized for healthcare, for telehealth. It can be utilized for smart buildings, smart infrastructure, smart mobilities, such as autonomous vehicles. And Volvo, I heard, is coming soon to Slovakia. So also looking at smart energy and having smart meters, being able to not waste energy, but actually redirect energy. Provide credits, if you will, for certain types of energy that may be more expensive than others or more detrimental to the planet. So converting coal, say for instance, to solar. All of these are opportunities that IoT can play a critical role. So we're looking at, you see that sphere inside of the actual shape there. That is, think of it as a natural language processing, meaning that everything that we text, all of the information that we gather actually comes together and it integrates to bring about information that makes us smarter and can actually build our quality of life. So I shared with you our company, and here's some of the applications of artificial intelligence. So thinking about AI, you're all familiar with social media. That is a key factor where many AI applications are part of your natural nomenclature. If you use your cell phone and you go into, say for instance, LinkedIn or Facebook or any of those other opportunities where you can connect with people, AI is being utilized. If you're going into Google and you're actually trying to find out information, a prompt will ask you, would you like to engage your artificial intelligence to enhance your search? And if it hasn't asked you yet, it will very soon. All that information is being generated on the back end with artificial intelligence. And you could go around the sphere and think about all of your daily activities whereby artificial intelligence is actually a part of that. So here is your citywide network. Again, we're talking about smart cities. How can we actually develop and thrive within these cities? Thinking about our smart utilization within the city form and our design and urban planning. We can think about the utilities, how we can best develop a smart system in which our utilities can be utilized, as well as smart parking. I love that one because it's a great opportunity to think about how you can use your cell phone and actually add money to a meter that may have gone out of commission and you need to pay. Or you're putting your car into a parking lot and it will allow for you to know how many parks are available so you don't have to continuously drive. Or a street, say for instance, if you're driving down the street, that kinetic energy will be curated and stored and then regenerated. So there's so many different facets and uses, if you will, of connecting the citywide network. Also take into consideration when you're thinking about emergency services. There were students since I've been here in Slovakia that I've met, And they've come up with some incredible ideas around how the street lights could actually engage and change based upon emergency services, knowing that an ambulance was coming down the street. So people would not have to divert, or the people would actually move out of the way in advance of it. Incredible thoughts by these young students. Also, energy. Of course, that's a key factor. Looking at alternative energy beyond some of the standard energies, how we can actually have carbon credits and value our energy in a different way and in an efficient way. So last but not least, looking at our security. So looking into cybersecurity and what does that mean from an artificial intelligence perspective? How can we trust and lock down our personal information, and who owns that information? That's all part of having a smart city that is actually networked with AI. So now we're down to ethics. This is an interesting topic. It's very challenging to think about the equity and the inclusion factor of AI and smart cities. It's thinking about how we can actually come together and be at the table in our design and considering everyone's backgrounds, their nationalities, what their thought is, not only gender, but it's an opportunity where we can thrive as a community. And it is inclusion and equity. It's level setting the playing field. Looking at our privacy and diversity, I won't go through all of these, but you have an idea of engaging one another in the process of knowing and determining what those challenges are. The EU has a Green Deal. You may have heard about it. It's a document in which many of the countries within the EU have come together to actually focus upon the ethical issues of artificial intelligence and its application within the green tech space. And of course, eliminating and mitigating bias. Because within computer systems, we actually are human beings. We all have biases as a human being. It's natural. But this allows for you to begin to think about the mitigation of those biases if you recognize that they do exist. So last but not least, let's just think about the ownership. Who owns the data? Who owns that information? Allow for it to have the opportunity, the level setting, the engagement, the inclusion of knowing that we all have some say-so in who owns your data, who owns that information that you can opt in or opt out. And I had showed you one application, well, the application wheel, whereby think about your healthcare information. In some countries, they allow for, if you want to engage, you can opt in to the government actually owning and utilizing your information in their data set. Because what AI does, it allows for the prediction of diagnoses, of disease, of other healthcare issues. You would actually know how many doctors you would need to have in a specific area or expertise. Just utilizing AI and gathering the information from a given area or community of people. Very fascinating. AI allows for you to propel your thoughts and to continue to think about what's next. How can we develop our smart city? How can we develop our smart government? How can we develop our smart education? And so here is the actual wheel. This wheel is part of green tech, but it can be utilized for any kind of analysis of the economy. Within this analysis structure, we're looking at the actual design being a critical part. That's where the engagement is that I shared with you earlier. Then you go around the wheel and you begin to think about the other attributes of development, manufacturing, and what does that mean to be a part of the economy. Engage, engage. along with renewables, and thinking about the potential waste that actually takes place. What I'm finding is we're becoming minimalist, many of us. We're beginning to think, well, maybe we don't need that next thing. Maybe we could actually reuse something we already have. Maybe we can have a thinner, more efficient way of developing a product. So with all of those considerations, we can look at this from a circular economy whereby we can actually access our sustainable growth and economic development. So I wanted to share with you this great opportunity of considering technology and AI from a green perspective. This is a city in Melbourne, Australia. And this city actually focuses on the enforcement of security as well as their micro vibrators, if you will, so you can actually collect information along with many attributes within the city framework and infrastructure to make it a smart city. And this is what I wanted to generate this for you. This is a generative AI photograph or image that allows for you to begin to think about green tech as a green IQ, considering the textiles and the concept, if you will. And I say textiles because I think of fabric and integration of green tech or clean tech as we develop our smart cities. Green IQ. Here is a demonstration or an example of management in regard to the integration of energy, looking at renewables as a driving force within these microgrids and how it can be converted from wind, from hydro, from geo, etc. as a key driver, by the way. And then connecting the infrastructure. The infrastructure is within your city structure, within your city framework, and how all of that can be connected. I had mentioned the IoT, the Internet of Things. All of those city networks, those neural networks, can be connected to be effective and efficient. This is one example of how the city streetlights could actually be signaled off and on when the streets are not active. So say, for instance, in the middle of the night, no one's driving down the major thoroughfare. All of the lights will be shut off, and therefore the energy will be more effectively utilized. Here's an example. We had some demonstrations of water. The water here is a distribution center whereby you can minimize the loss and utilize the most effective way of distributing water and the utilization of water in a smart city. I wanted to share this photograph with you. This is actually a rendition of an actual city, and it's the Eco Island in Nigeria. It is actually funded by a Nigerian. Nigeria, by the way, is the third largest producer of oil. And this eco-city is amazing. There are no vehicles in this city. It is run completely on EV. It is a complete smart city that functions on its own. It has its own financial structure, as well as all of its own institutions within. So the supply chains are shorter and more effective and more efficient. Let's see, there's 250 residents of this city, and it has existed for over 10 years. There's a collaborative, human-centered approach in the actual design of the city, and it's very, very effective. It's called the Eco-Atlantic Project in Lagos. Its visionary undertaking was aimed at creating a sustainable, smart, economically vibrant city, and the key is its resilience to the urban development as well as coastal challenges of erosion. So I wanted to share that with you because it's a dynamic, smart city. There's also a key city in Singapore. Singapore has it's an island, and it actually functions being a international, as well as smart city. So I wanted to share that with you. And in closing, as we actually have gone on this journey together today, in this fantastic world of smart cities, in Slovakia comes to a close, my time here comes to a close. I want to express my gratitude for the unwavering attention and engagement that you have given me today. The opportunity and what that means in building a smart city, making these connections and livable urban environments has been phenomenal. I leave with some very essential takeaways that I'd like to share with you. That there is power in vision. And I see that in this country, there is tremendous vision and tremendous strength and resilience. That it is people-centered and family-centered that really resonates with me, as well as the contribution of inclusion. I see that people come together. We talk about from food to politics to education and smart cities. I see that data remains to be a catalyst. The numbers give us information. They are the lifeblood, if you will, of a smart city. I see that the sustainability as well as the resilience that your cities constitute an opportunity in which you can continue to grow and develop and move forward. I also see the contribution of learning. I've had the great pleasure of speaking with students from the university, PhD level, all the way down to senior high school that have engaged in many activities that we've had within these schools to talk about smart cities and what they experience and what they would like to see. Lastly, I see the empowerment and as well as the inspiration. I have truly been inspired by the individuals that I've met, from the Smart City Group to Slovakia Tech, to this incredible organization that has put this event on. In closing, I want to reiterate that smart cities are not just a technical marvel, but a reflection of collective inspiration and aspirations. They are a testament to the resilience which Slovakia definitely has, and that ability to overcome challenges in innovation and to create a future of sustainability, equal and equity, and thriving opportunities. Thank you for your time and your attention and the dedication and commitment that you have to actually creating smart cities here in Slovakia. And I wish you all the best, and to continue, we can together create smart cities. So thank you.
Hello, hello.
Hey, we're gonna have a seat.
I'm gonna have a seat.
And it's way over there.
It's all right, I'll drag it over. There we go. Okay, so we've got some questions from the audience, and we're going to start you off with one that connects to your visit here in Slovakia.
Okay.
So you were here for about a week altogether.
Yes.
And one question is, what smart elements have you seen in the cities that you visited? You visited Košice, yes, Žilina, and of course, here in Bratislava.
Yes, yes. I have seen incredible activity in smart cities, to the point where I'm just overwhelmed in some instances. From sensors that are being used, from opening doors, to that's actually quite simple. And I was looking to see, well, where's the sensor? That's my engineer in me. So sensories, I've seen streets that are logically patterned, where traffic begins to flow, as well as individuals. I've been talking to organizations that are doing incredible work, looking at children's safety and how they can actually have them walk to school. I believe it's called the 15-minute city. As well as the open space in front of the presidential palace, where it's a gorgeous opportunity for people to gather And there was someone today that was lying out enjoying the fountain. So just those elements in itself. It sounds simple, it sounds as though you may have seen them every day. And also the transit system. How could I leave that out? The transit system is phenomenal, which is a very strong key part of having an effective smart city, because you need to be mobile within your city. And if it's a smart transit city, then you're actually able to be effective, cost-effective, efficient. You can come out of your home and realize that you don't have to commute 30 minutes and get in a traffic jam. And as you recall at the beginning, I said seamless traffic, seamless street lines. So I see the true makings of a smart city.
That's fantastic. And along with that, of course, goes smart citizenry.
Yes.
So what are some of the markers of a smart citizen?
The willingness, a smart citizen. Good question. A smart citizen is someone who truly has the willingness to learn, a transformative leader, I would call it. Someone who's engaged in the activities of the city, knowing what is coming next, and being a part of that engagement. And if you don't see the engagement, I say create the engagement. Connect with individuals that would be interested in their child's safety or in their streets, streets being more adaptable, if you will, or in their elderly actually having the right kind of services that are needed. So all of those are elements of a smart citizen.
That's extremely interesting. It sounds like we've got quite a few smart citizens here. So I think now we'll turn over to the audience questions. If you want to ask something, just join up at slido.com. And the first question is, how can we as a society prepare for a more AI integrated world?
I would say, first of all, may I pause a moment? I've used Slido in the United States, and then I found out that it was a Slovakian developer. So I was quite enamored. So I want to give that acknowledgement. I would say that how could a society prepare for the integration, if you will, is just become more and more informed. Ask questions, but also realize that a lot of what we do on a day-to-day basis is utilizing AI. Say, for instance, if you're doing a Google search, that has the back end, meaning the technology behind it is artificial intelligence. When you put in a query and it finishes your sentence, that's AI. If you are putting in a phone number and all of a sudden the phone number is completed and you think, well, how did that happen? That's AI. Something as simple that we don't realize that it happens every day. So how do we integrate it? Become more and more informed about the technology and adapt, because we're becoming more informed and not suspect of the technology taking over or being harmful, if you will, being more knowledgeable.
So does this mean that all the predictive text in our phones and in our Microsoft Word, that's all a lower form of AI?
Oh, it is the form of AI, absolutely, because AI is prediction. So it doesn't have to be the zeros and ones or large data sets. It can be something as simple as the information, getting to know the voice of the author or the writer. There's Grammarly. I'm naming a couple of actual software applications because you may be familiar with them, but now you know that the technology that is behind it. Grammarly is something that's used by writers and authors or students, if you will. And it allows for you to have the right punctuation or the right inference. And it's yet another tool.
So I have lots of questions about that, but I'll go to the second question we have from the audience, which is, how can we create a smart city in Slovakia today?
Be engaged. Find out what city government is doing. Find out what small businesses are doing. Find out what NGOs are doing. They are active. They are interested in making smart choices for your cities, to create smart cities. That's what I'm so excited about here, because I've seen from the NGOs, if you will, and I've also seen the engagement from business owners and investors and government in various cities that want the best for the citizens, that want to know that your quality of life continues to thrive. And so the first thing would be, how do you create and how can you engage, is by knowing what is going on around you and what is actually taking place. Because there are many activities that are engaging for you.
I really like this next question. How can we beat the bias in data, which focuses mainly on white men?
The first thing I mentioned in the ethics and challenge was inclusion. Being inclusive, having everyone at the table, having that diverse thought is critical. Because if you're not at the table, you can't contribute to the design. You can't contribute to the building of the algorithms or the comments that are being made. Or in some instances, if we're talking about GPT chat, you can't contribute to the development of the training of AI, because GPT chat and all of the other chatbots are training tools. You are merely training AI. It doesn't exist. You're creating something new. Generative AI is a new voice that is iterated over time based upon the training that you actually inculcate or input into the prompts themselves. So be careful what you query.
That's really interesting. I bet sociologists in 200 years are going to be unpicking this one. So, does a smart city require many resources?
Oh, it requires everything and everyone. It's an opportunity where, again, we can be inclusive and we can bring in smart governance. We can bring in education, healthcare, transportation, all of the attributes as well as all of the elements that make up our cities and our communities. It takes everyone to actually create a smart city. As well as we think of the financial resources, and of course that's a key element as well.
How do you personally see the future of AI? Positively? Negatively? Something else?
Well, I'm an optimist. I think that AI, if it's trained correctly, if we're all at the table, if we're engaging, I cannot emphasize that enough. If we are training and developing the technology, it gives us an opportunity to make it better, to control it, to be able to build policy and regulation around it, and therefore it could be utilized to maximize and optimize for our use, to actually develop and to create. And that's what we're striving for. We're striving to make our lives better, and technology is meant to actually make our lives better by taking larger amounts of data, larger amounts of information, curating it, synthesizing it, categorizing it, and applying it to various uses. So I'm an optimist. Now on the negative side, because it was negative or vice versa, I'll speak to that. I believe that through policy and regulatory concerns, as well as, I can't keep saying this enough, engagement and understanding the information and the data itself, that would allow for, if you're not engaged, the negative to happen. Because it will actually, you will not be able to adopt, you will have fear or suspect or be concerned that it's going to do something to you and not for you. Again, it's meant to do something for your behalf, not against you. So if we have that positive outlook of adoption and being willing to learn and being curious, then that, I believe, will allow for AI and all other emerging technologies. And AI is not really emerging, it's about 50 years old, believe it or not. But it would allow for you to utilize the technology the best way you can.
It's going to be
So I
interesting.
reverted back to positive.
Yes, yes. I've been told that as Americans, we are relentlessly optimistic and positive. I think it's one of our best qualities. So this is the last question. We've got about a minute and a half. And the question is, how do you inspire companies to start having an interest in investing in smart technologies in a country as small as Slovakia?
Allowing yourselves to think big. Think outside of the box. You can create in Slovakia and fulfill a need that you have identified locally, but I guarantee you it could be used elsewhere. You could trade, you can develop it for you could scale the actual product or service outside of Slovakia, but meet the needs locally. And that's why I like thinking about what exactly is the inclusion factor. How do we determine what Slovakia needs? How do you determine what Baksava needs? How do you determine what Juliana needs? And I had some time in Juliana. It was amazing because we met with students there, and I gave them the problem set of how you would see a smart city. And those students came up with incredible vision about what their smart city would be. And so those kind of inspirational thoughts and opportunities, along with working with the students from the UNICEF that were refugees from Romania, I believe, and the Ukraine, they had completely different ideas because their experiences were different. So again, it's bringing different people to the table so we can all make the world a better place.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samani. It has been our pleasure to have you here these past few days and weeks, and thank you for joining us here tonight at Researchers' Night.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, and thank you, Slovakia. Thank you.